Okay, so as we were saying, links are basically based on generic types, right? Generally, we have already seen generic types, if you remember, right? So here it can actually take up some, um, data type which you can actually make it as an enumerable, right? And basically, enumerable. So in the interface which takes up a generic type, right? So which takes the generic collection of classes so that we can actually enumerate using normally for each statement, right? And even Linq uses the same interface type of set of generic collection classes, right? On which you can actually write up our Linq queries to get some results. And so, in yesterday's class, we have seen one simple array type, like int type, where we have actually retrieved enumerable. You can see enumerable of int, which is a simple data type here. So similarly, we can actually get a complete object, so that we can actually iterate through objects. So let's see how we can actually do that. So let's connect this with entity so that we can actually get some data from database. So let me go to data, maybe data model. Let me call it as so. So let's take up the same college maybe, where we have students table. Okay. So let's call it as college model. Generate from database. And let's see where we have we don't have college connection string. Let's create a new connection string. Let's select the database, test it, fine, click on OK. Now we have this, let's keep this as a college activities. We can actually call it as college DB context, right? Because we will be accessing this to generate them. So I'll be using 6.0 and let it retrieve everything. Right, so I want all the tables and all this piece. Let's see. So it will generate all the models and all the DB context classes and the connection string new configuration and everything for us. Okay. Now this is anyways, you already see this part, right, where we get all the database schemas as a model classes here. Let's move ahead. Let me create a new class here, so that we can access it and everything all. Let me call it as one or something, and let me put this static here. So here let's try to access the students table, and we get all the students here. So before that, let's see what all the details we have in students here. So we have a few details and students, right? Let's go ahead and see that. So let me come to DB context. I have new DB context here. Okay, we have this DB context now here. Right, so with this DB context, let's get some data of students. Right, let me call it as students here. This is equal to DB context dot students dot list. I don't think that's no. We got the students, and normally how to read. So in order to actually read all these, right, we can use for each, right, where let's say we have students here, and you can actually have a load of right line. We have item dot. Let's print some student name and roll number, or roll number and some student name. Right, so we have this, let's say, and let's take up the read key. So run this. So basically we're just running, we haven't applied any link or anything here. We'll see all the operations which we can do in Linq, right? Now you can see I got all the roll numbers and all the students, whatever I have in my students table. Right? Now, let's see different stuff here. So basically first let's see how to get obtain all the results. So basically that is generic data type which you have, normal context generic data type which can handle all the generic objects, all the generic all the, it can actually hold all the object types actually, right? If you normally call generic types can be handled by that, right? I'll be using this, let's say, instead of using specific IE enumeration, we can actually directly use that, right? So let me call this data. So I'll call from, so it is like I just used this, right? So what I'm going to do, let me just put a simple take through here, and now we'll see. Now we have a students here, right? So let's say now what I want to get here is I want to get all the students, right, whose, let's say, name is something like Ram, let's say. I want to apply some condition. Previously what we used to do, either we have to move through this, right, or what we have to do is, or we have to actually get the details and move on, and we have to check condition whether the name is Ram or not. But don't worry, we can actually do that directly using the link here. How do we, let's see. So let's say from some n, which is item in the students, right? Now n becomes each and every record of students. So n, so let's say go there, n dot. So you can see you're getting your student, all the options of n. Let's say is equal to, so in this I want to select, this is what it is. So this will give you a specific, so assignment of, right? You will use assignment of, but we have to use equal to, right? So this student is equal to Ram, and I want to select all the ends wherever I get student name as Ram. That is my intention here, right? Simplify. I got all the details at once, but you can see I'll be using different steps here, right, to actually get details. Now let me run this through. So for each where item in data is. Let's see how it's going to work. So here let me take console dot right line you have item dot. Now you can see we are getting the data, right? Because it returns all the details of student, which means it will return again a list of student itself, right? But it won't be a list, but it will be an enumeration of the list, enumeration of the student class. Right? That's what it actually returns. Right? Let's say you have your roll number, and then you're gonna have your student name. Right? That's what it is. Yeah. So let's run this. Let's see how it works. Now you can see we got all the details whose name is from. Right? So this is what is one type of filter we have. Let's apply multiple filters here. Let's say I want a student whose name is Ram and also whose ID is some, let's say 7, let's say. Right? You can apply that here. So like there are two ways how you can extract, right? You can actually make use of AND operator and say roll number as 4, let's say. Right? So here it's Ram and roll number 4. Let's run this and see how it works. Now you can see we are actually getting all these conditions applied, which is 4 and Ram. Right? Either you can actually go in this way, or instead of actually applying AND operator, you can actually have multiple layers. Right? Which means you are actually getting the result. So see, first line will give you all the students, second line will actually filter among all students, it will filter all the students whose name is Ram, and then it will next time will filter whatever data set it returns, right, on top of which you are doing one more there, you are saying whose roll number is 4, and then you are setting it. And if you run this, you will actually get the same record of Ram, but whose ID is or roll number is 4. Right? The basic funda here is that you can actually have multiple layers. When you are writing multiple layers, which means you are actually applying AND operation across the variants you are actually defining. Right? So that's how it actually works. Right? So this is something which is called as a filtering part of Linq. Right? So initially you have seen obtaining all the data source results in our SRS class, getting everything. Right? But here you have seen something where we are actually filtering something, which using multiple conditions here. Now, so let's get into a bit detail of this where. So in where conditions, right, you can also call some methods if you want, internal methods if you want. So let me show you how to do that. So let's say, let me just put that simply here. Right, let me take a simple integer array. So in which, let me just take three numbers, 14, 12, 15, 17, 34, something. Now here, what I want to do is, I want to get data, right? I want to retrieve all the even numbers from array, right? For which you normally do apply for loop to this, and then we internally check some modular operator to get even numbers, right? So let's see how we can actually get using Linq. So we have a var, let's say result 1. So we have let's say data that we got as n in ARR there. So your n modulo 2 is equal to 0, Correct? And it is a simple condition right? Where whenever we divide with 2 and if we get result 0, which means right whatever number gets divided by 2, that is an even number. Right? So these are the result I am getting. So let's print this. So we have a result 1 here, and let's print it as console of right line of right. So let's run this and see. Look, one can see we got all the even numbers from your list at one shot. Right? Without applying any conditions over here. Now, so as I said, we can actually call some method from there, right? So let me write a simple method outside this loop, let's say, again this static method. So let's say I'm gonna take static, let's say boolean of let's say I'm going to call check for even number, right? And let's say it accepts so here what I want to check, I'll say so let me return, let me just clean this try catch every time we don't have to use this. So here let me say if your a percentile 2, anyways we are going to apply the same logic, and I say a percentile 2 is equal to 0, right? Then return true, right? But main concept here is that from where condition I can use this. See how I can use it. I can just come on, check the new one and that's it. So here I'm directly checking. Now when I simply call this method, which means we know that for Boolean methods you don't have to exclude say is equal to true or not. Right? Even if it will take, I mean a program will take this. Let's run this first, okay? So in where condition I'm actually checking for even, and if it is true then only I'm actually selecting all my else. Let's run this. Now we will get on the even number itself, right? And you can see even if I don't have this and run this program, because of for Boolean type site, when we are actually checking something, we don't exclusively need to make is equal to true or is equal to false. Right? Now you can see this is equal number. Now simply using the same method, if you say not here, a simple not, which means whenever it is false, if check for even returns it true, and if you are checking only for false, which means you are getting the odd numbers, right? Simply we get all the odd numbers. Now you can see we all the odd numbers we have. Right? So this is how we can actually get data in here. Right? Now let's move on. So let's see the next one. Now this is something where we have seen multiple things what we can do in there. You can actually have multiple ways. You can actually have a method called in where you can actually have a unit or anything. Now you know that you can actually apply any type of conditions. Either it can be method call or a direct condition from there. Right. Now let's see our stuff here. Now let's see the next part, which is ordering part. We normally order, whenever we retrieve data from SQL, we normally call order by something and all that. So let's see what to do. Let me take grab result something from, let's say from, let me call it as output 1. So let me call this output 1 here. Because n students, right? And let's say I want to get all the students, right? Now here I can apply something called order by. let's say I want to get order by n dot student name, right? So by default, right, assembly is the default method, which is you can actually call assembly here. Even if you don't mention assembly, it will be by default. Now let's say I want to print student name. I want to get all the students in assembly order, right? And let's print this. Let me just copy this for each loop, and let me get this data out. Right? So this is a loop I want, and I know that whatever item I'm printing, I'm getting all the roll numbers of student. But this time, what I'll be getting, I will be getting a sequential order using student name in assembly order. Let's run this and see how it goes. So you can see, normally data gets printed in this way, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 and on, and you have this. But you can see it actually got shuffled based on the name, which is in assembly order. Fine. Similarly, you can have your assembly order too. Let's make it assembly. Right? So we have it assembly order. So this is something how it actually works in here. Now you can actually make compound assembly. Let's say here we have n dot roll number as assembly and just do it, which means you are actually applying the order by into different in the same as a SQL which we write, right? If you understand the SQL part, how to write it not, your Linq is easy. Right, you can just apply it as is. Fine. I'm applying the roll number and the student name to be in sequence itself. Let's run this. So what happens here is, you can see here, now you can actually apply a roll number sequence first anyways. And then whenever it actually applies the student and descending order, right now we'll see, whenever Ram comes over here, Ram and its roll numbers are in ascending order and your Ram is, which means at least your roll number will be in ascending order. You can see 4, 6, 7, 8. And wherever there is a, not 4, 6, 7, 8, it's 4, 7, 8, which are in ascending order as such. And then your name will go descending. So similarly, you can have your compound order there. Right? So let's move to the next one and see how to get a group by. Right? Now, in which case we normally use group by? Whenever there is a repetition, right? Let's say your name is repeated, your Sam name is repeated here, right? Which means if you actually get a distinct of them, right, you actually, you can use a group by so that you can actually get all the details, right, which are, like let's say count of something whose name is Sam. This is something where you're actually getting Sam and getting the count from the was after. Right? So in this way, let's see how to use the operation. Let me take var and output 2. Right, you have from, let's say S in students. Now you can directly use something called group by. Right, or group S, which is group all the student, each and every student S by the S star student name, let's say. Now this is how we can use group by. Group your object records S by S dot student. This will actually give you a details. And this S, what it returns is it will actually return a key for this. Right? Which will use a key in the sense all the student names, right, written here, which should be a key. So first let's print this S. Let's see what we actually got. So here let me use output 2. So let me print console dot write line of S. sorry, right, when you press item dot, you have something called key. Let's do this. Now you can see that the key, you see, you actually got distinct names here actually. Right? Now which means you will be getting, when I say key, right, it will give you the actual data you got. Right? But when you apply the actual student, right, let's see how it works. So your S itself will work as your item here will actually work as a distinct details here. So let's do this too. So here let me take it as some let me just take a student ST in collection of item, let's see. Let's see what exactly it returns. So here let me print, let me take consume right line of ST dot. See, you're again getting your details also, which means whatever group by it returns your enumeration of collection students, in which you are getting each collection item and you are printing. Right? Let's print roll number. Same way, you can see how much you can try. And let's print student name. Right? And once this loop is done, let's just have a simple right line. A simple line. Right, where I'm printing my record select. A key here and then its cross. So on this, you will see what exactly I meant. Now you can see key is Sam, and you can see I got the details of Sam first. Group by. Right? And key is next Arun, I got details of Arun. You can see key is 1 and I got in the group of this item, right? I got all the details of that. But there is something where I'm actually grouping by the name. You can see I'm actually grouping by the name so that I have multiple details of my name, right? So that I'm actually putting. Right? So this is how I can actually use group by operation in Linq. Right? And you can see it's very straightforward here. When you group by, it actually return all the collection of students. It actually returns, see how many collections, I-level collection data, it return 1, 2, 3, 4 I-level collections, in which each collection is again a collection of students. Right? So that's why you can see in each collection it will give you key and all the details also. Right? So this is how you can actually have your now, on top of this, you can apply, if you want to apply order by, right, you can apply the where condition, right, in those things you can always apply it. Okay. Like, what I meant is, let's say you are going to write a where condition, right, that I start swirling is equal to right? Now when I say this, run this up, you can see we are seeing a group by student name, but before right? Now you can actually apply all the different operations, whatever you want here directly. And so this is about your group by. Let's see the next one, which is very important again, like a join. Now how to, let me just put join version here, so like this. Right, we may require join. What do we require join? Let's say if you have multiple tables, right? Let's take one table here, we have students table and let me take academic tables. Right, we have some academics here. For 1, 2, 3 and 4 student roll numbers, right? We have some academics defined here. Normally, how do we do? Normally, take this students table and join with this academics table and get the data. Now we can actually do that part using a link very easily. Now we are getting students, right? Let me just create one more list of academics, right? So let me call it as academics. We have your GB context dot academics dot list, right? Where you get all the academics. Now let's see how to join them. So let me take where output 3 reference to S any students. So first I'll take students anyways, right? And then now here what I'm going to do is directly selecting something. I'll just join. I'll use join. You can see I want to join academics. Let me put as A in academics. Whenever we join, we have to join on some condition. On what? On my S dot roll number, right? Is equal to, or we can use equals your A dot roll number, which means these two tables, these two objects will be joined based on roll number, right? And then this will actually the new set. Let's say I'm going to select. Whenever you select, right, now you have to redefine the output here. Now whenever you want a direct output, right, let's say if you're surfing students and you want direct student details, you directly used to do n, and whatever variables are there in n, you used to get everything, variable, the student and everything. But here let's see how to define a new output. Whenever you want to see, there are two different things, right? Students and academics you have joined, and obviously you'll be expecting something out of students and academics, which means if I select S or A, let's say if I select S, right, it will actually give you, what is it called here? Actually, we have already defined. Okay, that's fine. Let me put as SEA, something else. Because it seems we have already defined A here, right? So that's why, yeah, that's fine. Now here if I select only S, right, which means even if I join something, I will be getting only students data, I won't be getting academics data. But if I select ACA, I will be getting only academics data. But how to actually get the hybrid output of this? Now that is something which is called as a creating a new output, where you can use a new keyword where I'll start my braces here. Now here you can start declaring your variables. Let's say I want name first. Now which is equal to my, I'm getting name from students, right? Based on student name. Right, you have comma, let's say roll is equal to S dot roll number. And then let's say I want something from academics. What are there in academics? We have marks and leaves, right? Let's say I want marks. From where I get it from academic dot marks. Similarly, leaves, I get it from academic dot leaves. You can see that I'm actually getting things. These are like local variables I'm creating, which will be provided to this out, right? So each record will have name, role, marks, and leaves. You cannot have these variables. I'm actually creating this. Now let's move on this output and see how we get. Now connection, let's take output 3. Now see how it happens. So let me just put console right line out. Let's say item dot see whatever values or variables we define, we are getting those values only. Right, let's define role. Right, and then you have item dot see, you have name, you have item dot, let's say you have marks, you have item dot, let's see your leaves. Right, and which means you have created a brand new one. Not only here, wherever you want, right? Wherever you want, I can actually select new output also, which returns some some derived values from your main output. Right? Anything is possible, but if you want to get a new set, yes, it is possible in Linq. Now let's run this. Now you can see we got student details, including their academic details too. Marks and years. Right? So this is how you can actually get join conditions where you can actually join a few things and it will actually get it. Right? So these are all the details we have. Right? There's other details, which means all the operations which you can do, different operations which you can do across the field. Right? So any questions here, guys? The concepts and what we have. There are a few more miscellaneous type of things which you do. But anyways, if you actually apply any one of the above, for sure, right? But you can actually apply different, different level of conditions. So let me take a simple string array. Let me call it as SAR. Is equal to something here. Let me call hello. Hi. Let me call right. So let's say I have simple string array. Now here, this is a separate set, right? This is a string set anyways. For integer set, whatever was same, you can apply anything. In string also, you can actually string separate object type, right? Now here, you can apply things like, let's say you want to get all the strings, right, which contains character H, let's say. Right? So let's see how we can actually get it. Now we have grab. Now this is something which is exclusively for strings, right? Because we have seen all other output types. Let's see the string type also. So let me call this output 4 is equal to from, let me put in SAR. And I would say is your n, right? You can see here, you can actually have contains, let's say I'll take H. That which means you can actually check internal things also. It says that in each of your string word or each of your word, if it contains such, then you return my word. Otherwise, don't return. Let's see what we can actually print. Let me just take this output 4 and let's bring that. So let's run this. You can see hello and hi. Because we have checked for capital H here. Right? Now if you want to check for all, let's say I'm making it as 2 upper and then I'm checking contains H, which means I'm actually making every word uppercase and I'm not checking. Now let's run this. You can see you are getting this. Right? So in this way, so you can actually get things really for even micro level operations you can do. Now if you are good with Linq, right, you can actually go drill down into any operation you do. Whatever we do, all the conditions, all the cases, everything, right, you can apply everything in here. Let's listen. Now this is something which is all about links we have, right? So and the link, right, is a common query which we use across different data sources. Now the main purpose, I hope you will understand the main purpose now. The main purpose of Linq is, so we have different data sources for different stuff. Like let's say if you're working with SQL Server, we have different data sources like data set or data reader we have, right? And if you have R2, you have some or a query client and different things for XML different, right? So among all these, right, to actually make something generic to query across the data sources, we have this link, right? So let me show you one thing. We have something called link to SQL or link to dataset. Let me show you how we can actually use them, right, in here. Let's say my data type is dataset, and I want to see how I can actually use link here. Let me create a new class here. Let me call it as link to DS, which is link to dataset itself. And here, let me remove this article. And let me make let's start with word name. So here you can see, first let's get the data set, right? So for getting the data set, anyways, let's take that data set from, we already have the data set itself, and we have data here, right? Now let's take in this part of code, right, where our data set is already ready. We have already created this part in our ADO.NET part, right? So let's not waste time, but we'll just take this part. Right, where I'm gonna take this resolve to SQL client and this resolve to the data part. Now anyways, my connections you can see I'm actually making to school. Anyways, it doesn't matter. If it is going to some else, that's fine. So here let's see he's going to school over here, or else let's make it college. Right, my connections in here, and I'm checking the connections and make sure in your finally, let's not skip this part, let's write it first. I'm writing if my connection object is not equal to null, then close the connection. Now here, instead of writing this SP, let's say that star from students, simple. Let's remove the command types and all. So let's get it very simple. Now here you have your data set ready, right? Where you have the college and all stuff. So let me just copy even the part where we actually move on to our data set. Right? So now this is a simple data set we have, where we created a connection string to college database and we connected it, right, and we queried students table and we filled it into data set. And here, initially let's see how to retrieve the data tables and looking on the tables and each row and then getting the data. First let's run this and let me show you the output first. Oh, we have to put a key. So now you have your data here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 and Sam and so on, and even other stuffs like your address, your phone number and different things here. Fine. So now here, let's see how we can actually filter things. Now let me put a console dot right line. You can apply all the operations like join, whatever you have done, right, group by everything on dataset directly, right? Now when I say dataset directly, obviously you have to get tables and then do it. Obviously you can't directly do tables, right? Now let's say I am taking a data table, right, because dataset contains a data tables. Let me call it as D21 is equal to, we have dataset dot tables of 0. And you can write your query or like linked queries on data table. Let's see how. Let me call it where output1 is equal to 1. Let's say each row, this data table contains row, right? Let me call it as row as R in row data table. But a data table contains rows. Now those rows have to be changed so that we can actually make it as a enumerable, right? So for that reason we have something called as enumerable. This will convert all our duty rows as a enumerable objects. And let's select artist, which means I am selecting all the rows here, right? So here let's print it. Let's see how we can actually move on to this row. We never know what type of R it is written. We said okay, it is written enumerable row. Now you can see it returns enumeration of data rows, and we are catching it here, right? But let's see how we can actually read the data. Now reading data is also simple here, which is let's say right now. We have item, which is a row dot. We have something called field. Now this is specific to Linq. If you are using Linq, right, then your enumerable row type is selected. Field of. Now you can see here. You can actually mention what type of data type it is. If you are selecting integer, now you can see students table when you look through. If you give your roll number first, and roll number is your integer type, right? So that we can take any type, and we have to use which column. Let's say I'm going to use 0 column. Right, which will be roll number here, and let me just get even the student name as such. Now let me take field of string, because student name is string. Let's say let me take that. Now this will give me all the details of each and every row in table, and I'm printing it. Let's run this. Now this is how, now you can see I got my roll number and SAM. Now this is how we can actually use the Linq over the dataset or over the SQL. And on top of this, yes, you can apply any number of conditions. So let's say I want to select only students whose roll number is, whose name is something. You can say R dot field here, right? Let's say a string of 1. One is a, let's say, name part, right? Let's say Ram. I want student details whose name is Ram. You can see I'm actually going to dataset, which is data table here. That's the reason why I'm actually taking field over here. Let's run this. You can see we get out of now. Right? Now this is how you can get. Now if you want to make the output simple, right? So what I mean is, let me create one more console. Let me take this table again. Or rather I don't have to, because I can use the same data table. So let me make output here. So here what I'm going to do, I want all the details, let's say, but instead of making field, right, I'll make new set here. See how I'll take row. What is row? It is R dot your field, right, of integer type in 0. So same way name, which is R dot field of string in the first column. Same way, what else you have? Let's take a simple phone number, let's say I'm just taking as a phone, which is R dot field of the string again of the phone number is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Let's say. Now this will return you the user-defined variables. Now once you move on to this output, see what you get. This print on the line of your item dot, you can see name, role, and phone. Let's print phone. We have item dot name here. Then we have item dot what is it? Now now we have actually customized your output again. Right, out of your data set, you got a data table and your weight enumerable, and then you are actually getting your customized output of a different variable. Instead of using everything, now this is the best way. Out of all your columns, make your own variable and then try to reach. Right? Because tomorrow, if you are changing any column type, you have to change only at one place, not every time. But if you go in this way, right, you have to change it everywhere wherever you're using your field attribute for your each one. And now you can run it now. You can see the same output, which is this is something which causes select many operations, right? Now you can see you have your roll number, name, and so this is how you can actually get things. So now, once you are good with this, right, you can actually go ahead and apply multiple queries. Now, let's say this outputs some data set, right? Now, on top of this, you can write a new Linq query. Let's say this is returning some set. And I put a bracket over here, right, which is this, which means this is returning one more set. Now, on top of this, I can write from, which is, let's say, I'm taking n in this data set. Right, now you can see this is the set where you can see where my n dot, when I say now you can see you are getting name, phone and row, right? Row is greater than 1, and select n. What does it mean? See here, this is my actual query I wrote. On top of this, I'm actually writing one more Linq operation. Now in this way you can actually increase how, if you understand Linq logic, it will be very easy and very handy to take up. We know that this is going to return a Linq query. Sorry, I enumeration mode. Now that's the reason why I'm actually taking my enumeration. And on top of that I'm actually doing my operation called, I'm taking only roll number which is greater than 2 on top of this. This will return all the rows, but if you filter again with greater than 2. Let's run this. Now you can see we are getting only details which are to be come to. Well, and on top of this, you can again do something else. See, I'll drag it again. Now which means this is return my high enumeration, right? You can see again, I can use my transformation on top of this. I'll say where my, let's say, k lambda operation where k dot, see, again it means it will, let's say k dot name is equal to 1. I want all the details only for dot select of something L lambda. Right? I'm actually doing all these things on top of this again one more set where I'm writing my way condition with the different things. Let's run this. So you can see again it got filtered again. Linq is so exhaustive that you can actually use your transformations or everything as if you are actually taking a complete set, right? We know that again this select will return you a complete different set again. Right? Now you can actually improvise this many more times. Now let's say you want to use here enumeration, right? Now I can give enumeration and then dot, let's say I want where I'll give this set, this complete set, comma. My predicate is, let's say something I'm taking C, lambda, where C dot row, you can see row is equal to, now is there any row for RAM? Let's say 7. I'm going to take it as 7. Dot select of some O lambda O. See what I'll get? I'm actually applying one more transformation we called where, and I'm getting where condition of so and so RAM, and then I'm selecting something else. On it, you will see only output of 7 RAM. Right. Now in this way, you can actually go to any depth, you can actually apply all the ways at one, because your Linq always work on a generic and movable data sets. Right? So this is about Linq which you have, right? Now, if you actually practice more on Linq, right, then I'm sure that whatever correction you get, you'll directly write your links directly. So this is how we can actually write Linq operations, and this is all about Linq.